Before entering nirvana, the Buddha gave his final teachings for the benefit of future sentient beings. In the age of Dharma decline, sentient beings are deeply burdened by heavy karmic obstacles, making spiritual practice as difficult as ascending to the heavens. He also told his disciples that in this age of Dharma decline, there are still three types of people who are most likely to attain fruition. This answer deeply moved all the disciples present and illuminated a bright path for practitioners in future generations. Who are these three types of people? Today, I will reveal the answer together with all of you. If my video can inspire you, please kindly like and subscribe. May Amitabha Buddha bless everyone with the light of Buddha shining in their hearts. Fill them with the joy of the Dharma, and may their practice be unhindered. On the day of the Buddha's parinirvana, beneath the sal trees of the lay follower Nakara, over 1,000 disciples sat in assembly, the air suffused with solemnity and the spirit of giving. In the midst of the forest silence, only the gentle rustling of leaves stirred by the breeze could be heard. Venerable Ananda knelt before the Buddha, hands joined in reverence, tears welling in his eyes. As the Buddha's closest attendant, inseparable for 25 years, he understood better than anyone what the Buddha's departure truly meant. Gazing upon the Buddha's serene countenance, Ananda was overwhelmed with profound emotions. The Blessed One, a disciple has a question to ask. Ananda's voice trembled slightly. The Buddha looked at Ananda with compassion and nodded gently, signaling him to continue with his inquiry. Ananda joined his palms together, his eyes filled with deep concern, and slowly spoke. Bhagwan, I have heard that after your nirvana, the Dharma will undergo 3 periods: the true Dharma, the semblance Dharma, and the degenerate Dharma. In the degenerate Dharma period, sentient beings become ignorant and hostile from birth, making practice difficult. The disciple could not help but worry. How will sentient beings of that time be liberated? Upon these words, silence immediately fell all around. All the disciples quieted their hearts and minds, their gazes collectively fixed upon the Buddha, awaiting his teaching. At that moment, a golden light blossomed from between the Buddha's eyebrows, illuminating the entire grove of twin sal trees. Resonant overtones sounds echoed from afar, while countless celestial flowers drifted down from the sky, creating an atmosphere profoundly sacred and solemn. The Buddha slowly opened his eyes, his gaze clear and serene like autumn waters, and gently said, Ananda, your worries are not without cause. In the age of degenerate Dharma, sentient beings indeed face numerous obstacles. Venerable Kaya could not help but speak up. World-honored one, what difficulties do sentient beings face in the age of Dharma decline? The Buddha gazed toward the distant horizon and slowly said, At the beginning of the age of decline, the human heart loses its former steadfastness, and the moral principles of the world gradually decay. The 10 wholesome deeds gradually decline, while the 10 unwholesome deeds become increasingly rampant. People seek pleasure and neglect the cultivation of wholesome practices. Even monks in monasteries find it difficult to strictly observe the precepts. Those who propagate the Dharma are less than 1,000th of what they were in the era of the true Dharma. At that time, sentient beings were deeply afflicted by heavy karmic obstacles, had limited wisdom, and impure 6 sense organs, making it difficult for them to realize their true nature. These words were like a thunderclap, causing all the disciples present to be filled with compassion. Mahakya also joined his palms together and respectfully asked, O Shakyamuni, does this mean that sentient beings in the degenerate age of the Dharma are disconnected from the Buddha's teachings and find it difficult to attain liberation? The Buddha smiled gently and replied with compassion, Well said, well said. Kasyapa, your question is most timely. Indeed, the age of Dharma decline is fraught with obstacles. Yet precisely because of this, the true mind can be more clearly revealed, just as a luminous pearl in the darkest night shines all the more brightly. Practitioners during the Mahist era were the same. Even though living in a turbid world, they could still maintain purity and tranquility. Seeing this, Ananda's mind involuntarily returned to the city of Rajgir from years past, recalling the teachings that the Buddha once gave to King Bimbisara. He asked again, "World-honored one, when King Pasenadi sought your teaching on how to practice during the age of degenerate Dharma, you said that the more degenerate the age is, the more one must firmly uphold the fundamentals. But what exactly are these fundamentals?" The Buddha gently stroked the lotus flower in his hand and slowly replied, "That is precisely so. Although the age of Dharma decline is marked by heavy karmic obstacles, liberation is still attainable as long as one grasps the fundamental principles." In classical language, the surrounding disciples gathered closely, listening attentively. Venerable Upali asked, "Bhagwan, I earnestly beseech your compassionate instruction. What is the fundamental of practice?" The Buddha gently placed the lotus flower in his hand upon the ground, his gaze deep and resolute, and said, "All sentient beings possess Buddha nature. It is merely obscured by ignorance, making it difficult to manifest. People of the degenerate age, though possessing limited wisdom, are not devoid of karmic affinity with the Dharma. As long as they possess certain qualities, they are even more likely to attain the fruit of enlightenment than others. Just like this lotus flower, although it grows in the mud, it can still bloom a pure and immaculate flower." Ananda, with sincere respect, earnestly asked, "O blessed one, I humbly beseech your compassion to reveal who, in the age of the Dharma's decline, is most likely to attain realization." At this moment, a distant, faint bell toll echoed from afar. A gentle breeze swept through the forest. Suddenly, thunder rumbled across the sky, and lightning streaked across the vast expanse. Venerable Subhuti could not help but ask, "World-honored one, what is the cause and condition for this?" The Buddha smiled gently, his gaze soft and profound, as the heavenly realms bore witness to these words. "Ananda, listen carefully. In the age of degenerate Dharma, there are three types of people most likely to attain fruition." The assembly of disciples calmed their minds and held their breath, awaiting the Buddha's teaching. The first type of person is inherently filial, one who dutifully cares for and supports their parents. The Buddha's gaze was gentle as he slowly said, "Filial piety is the foundation of practice. A person who is filial to their parents possesses gratitude and reverence in their heart, understands cause and effect, and knows how to repay kindness. If a person cannot be filial to their parents, how can they genuinely cultivate a compassionate heart? If one cannot respect those who gave them life and nurtured them, how can they reverently honor the three jewels and steadfastly uphold the true Dharma?" The Buddha paused slightly and continued, "In the past, there was a prince of radiant light. During his childhood, his family's fortune declined, and his parents were elderly and frail. He did his utmost to care for his parents, never harboring even the slightest resentment despite enduring hunger and cold himself. He harbored utmost filial piety, moving heaven and earth. Ultimately, due to the purity of his filial devotion, he received the guidance of the Buddha and attained the noble fruition. From this, it is evident that those who are filial and pure in heart are the most easily moved." Upon hearing this, all the disciples were deeply moved, and a sense of reverence arose in their hearts. The Buddha gently placed the lotus flower down and then said, "The second type of person is one who delights in giving without seeking anything in return." He cast his gaze around slowly and said, "In the age of degenerate Dharma, people's minds are restless, greed swells, and the world is preoccupied with gains and losses, fearing any form of loss. Those who delight in giving without seeking returns possess a serene heart, unburdened by worldly attachments, and understand the principle of impermanence. They are not attached to possession, nor bound by lustful thoughts. Therefore, they can easily let go and realize the essence of the Dharma." The assembly of disciples listened silently as the Buddha continued, "Elder Vidura, you should remember that although he is a layperson, he generously practices giving, establishes assemblies for the precious Dharma, supports the monks, and upholds the true teaching. He does not seek personal gain, only wishes for all beings to attain liberation. Ultimately, through the merit of generosity, he accumulates wholesome roots and virtuous qualities. Righteousness manifests beyond the worldly realm. Therefore, the giver not only benefits others but also benefits oneself. Ananda suddenly understood, joining his hands in reverence and speaking softly. Like the lotus flower, it reveals its fragrance to the world, yet asks nothing from anyone. The Buddha smiled gently and nodded in acknowledgement. The third kind of person, the Buddha spoke slowly, his voice imbued with profound compassion, are those who have endured suffering yet remain steadfast in their goodwill. The disciples' expressions grew even more focused. The Buddha continued, "The suffering in the world is impermanent. All sentient beings are inevitably subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. The affairs of the world are ever-changing and unpredictable. Those who can truly hold fast to their original mind and maintain wholesome thoughts amid suffering possess a mind as firm as Vajra and faith as pure as the lotus. Such a person is more likely than anyone else to attain the supreme fruit of realization." The Buddha paused, his gaze profound, and spoke of a certain bhikkhu from Jambudvipa who, as a child, was orphaned and destitute, enduring endless hardship and mistreatment. However, he does not blame heaven or others. Instead, he becomes even more resolute in pursuing goodness, viewing suffering as the nourishment for his spiritual practice. Ultimately, due to his attachment to wholesome thoughts, he was saved by the Buddha and attained the fruit of arhatship. The Buddha slowly closed his eyes and gently sighed. Suffering is the natural state of the world. If one can maintain their true mind amidst adversity, they can transcend impermanence and realize enlightenment. The disciples remained silent for a long time, their hearts stirred with turmoil. These three types of individuals may not inherently possess supernatural powers nor extraordinary wisdom, yet their character brings them closer to the essence of the Dharma than anyone else. The Buddha opened his eyes and spoke earnestly. "Ananda, do you know that these three kinds of people, though seemingly ordinary, are the rarest to be found?" Ananda respectfully replied, "Bhagwan, although they dwell in the mundane world, they are able to maintain their pure and original mind, like a lamp in the darkness that illuminates themselves and also lights the way for others." The Buddha's hands were faintly sweaty, his gaze filled with compassion. Indeed, it was exactly so. In the age of degenerate Dharma, sentient beings are immersed in false speech, lost in the cycle of greed, hatred, and ignorance. However, these three types of people are able to steadfastly uphold their true nature within reality, remaining unmoved by external circumstances. The light in their hearts, like a lighthouse in the darkness, guides themselves toward liberation and illuminates the path for others. Just as the golden lotus, though born from the mud, still blossoms into a pure and unstained flower. Their practice lies not in external forms, but in the inner awakening and steadfastness. The afterglow of the setting sun bathes the Buddha's serene face, as if the entire universe is immersed in a profound silence and tranquility. In the distance, sentient beings drift tranquilly, and the Buddha's voice becomes gentle and profound accordingly. "Ananda, you must deeply remember the words spoken today. In the future ages, no matter how the world changes or how human hearts may waver, as long as sentient beings uphold virtuous thoughts, the Dharma will never perish. Just like the twin sal trees, changing through the four seasons, although there are times when leaves fall and drift away, as long as the roots remain, new shoots will eventually sprout again." Lotus clouds floated down from the sky. Sandalwood incense mingled with the rain, gently resonating throughout the entire forest. The Buddha's words not only illuminated the disciples present at that moment, but also guided countless practitioners in generations to come. The key to attaining the supreme and true fruit of virtue does not lie in extensive knowledge or extraordinary supernatural powers, but in having a pure and uncontaminated benevolent heart. This mind transcends time and space, untainted by worldly defilements, unshaken by external circumstances. It is precisely the Buddha nature inherently possessed by all sentient beings. A single pure thought is Bodhi. Regardless of the circumstances, as long as one can guard this kind and pure heart, one can see the light amidst the sea of suffering and ultimately attain liberation from the path of delusion.